What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to Down to the Wire. I'm Brian Costa.
And I'm Tyler Stringfellow.
And we have a great episode for you guys tonight. Tyler, it's been a month since we have had you on the show. I think the last show I had you on was our Christmas special or something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so it's been a month. I'm glad to have you back on the show, Tyler.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, we got a ton of stuff to talk about, especially in the NFL.
Oh, goodness.
Way more than I can even talk about in this episode. One thing for sure that I'm not going to get a chance to talk on this episode, just want to get out of the way now, is the whole Brian Flores story. I know this is kind of stuff that's been breaking over the past couple past couple hours. So I'm not going to get a chance to talk about that.
Tune in on Friday for that.
I have a Friday episode coming out with a good friend of mine, Sean Howe. He's a Dolphins fan. So if you want anything involved in that, that's coming out then. But we got a great episode today. We're breaking down everything from Tom Brady, not including the Patriots in his goodbye Instagram post, to the AFC and NFC championship games. And Tyler, it's a great episode ahead of us. But listen, I think I'd be remiss to say if we wouldn't get criticism for, kind of being just, when it comes to our credibility of talking about the NFL, I could understand where some people could say, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what this. I mean,
this kid's a swimmer. What the heck does he know?
Exactly. When was the last time you stopped playing football?
Dude, 4th grade.
Yeah. I played flag. So that was it for me. That was the last time.
Okay. I played flag till like 8th grade, but I played tackle football
so competitive with
3rd and 4th grade.
Yeah.
I was older and really small. So they're like, you'll die. Dude.
Exactly. I was a good center in flag football. And by good center, I mean, I just didn't snap it over the QB's head.
That's important.
Dude, that was QB1, bro.
Yes. So obviously, love to see it, Tyler. But obviously, people could essentially say, you guys don't know anything about what you're talking about. You're kind of an armchair quarterback. So listen, while we may be armchair quarterbacks, I decided to go out here and get an actual quarterback on the show. He has been on this show once before and it was a great interview when we had him on previously. I'm so glad to welcome him back to the show. Without any further ado, please welcome back to Down to the Wire, Mr. Zevi Eckhaus. Zevi, how you doing, man?
Thank you. I'm doing good. I'm actually really excited to get on the show and talk sports. I feel like a lot has happened, like you just mentioned.
Yeah, there's been so much going down, man.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously, I'm glad to have you on to give your take from it. Lot of crazy stuff. So I say let's get right into it.
Let's do it.
Obviously, I was going to start things off by talking about the AFC and NFC championship games, but something happened yesterday that kind of threw everyone for a loop. Tommy Brady. So I did an emergency podcast last Saturday when it came out from Adam Schefter and Jeff Darlington that Tom Brady was going to shortly announce his retirement. Everything kind of stood still. I got like 5 people on. I got Tyler Tucker on. I got a bunch of people from the Fumble Rooski podcast and the Pesky Pull podcast on. It was actually a great time. I recommend you check it out after this episode if you haven't gotten a chance to see it yet. But basically, as soon as this came out, Tom Brady's father went on a radio show interview and ended up saying, no, that's BS. My son isn't retiring. Tom Brady went on his own Let's Go podcast with Jim Gray and said, I haven't made up a decision yet. And literally within less than 24 hours, Tom Brady comes out with an Instagram post and says, it is official. I'm walking away from the game of football. And it was something that people were expecting. But what people were not expecting is that in this Instagram post, in this goodbye post to the NFL as a player, he did not mention the Patriots, albeit one time. He did not mention the word New England or the fans, Bill Belichick. Nothing was mentioned in there. You would have thought this man played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the past 22 seasons if you knew nothing about football. And let me just tell you, New England fans were ripping him a new one.
Yeah, they were.
It didn't matter what news station.
Portnoy really ripped him apart and had to apologize because Tom Brady retweeted him or something like that.
Really?
Like, yo, we're best friends or something like that. And then he comes out 10 minutes later. He's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So obviously a ton of stuff going down there. New England fans on any single sports radio program, anything, anywhere, we're just going at Tom Brady's neck for this. Tyler, what were your thoughts when you saw all this stuff going down?
Okay. So I was very annoyed at first, but then he tweeted out, thank you, Patriots Nation. I'm beyond grateful. Love you. And then he also reposted the Patriots goodbye thing on Instagram about him.
Yeah.
And then it really he should have said something, but he also said that everything that needed to be said when he left. So he already said it.
No, that's a good point.
But I also saw and this is the weirdest thing. I haven't seen this anywhere else, but on CBS Sports, they posted that Tom Brady is going to re-sign with the Patriots on a 10-day contract to
retire
a Patriot. And
a 10-day contract?
Yeah, or no, like a one-day contract.
I thought it would be a 1 day.
Okay, wait, now it's not there.
Yeah. So I was seeing the thing about the Patriots signing him to a 1 day contract. That has kind of gone by the wayside within these past couple hours.
Okay, so it's not here anymore. Yeah. So whoever did that took it down because I didn't see. My roommate mentioned it to me.
Yeah.
And I looked and I saw it, but then I follow so many sports pages and analysts and stuff like that, and I didn't see it anywhere else. I'm like, there's no way this is true. But
no, yeah, I was actually hearing reports. I was talking with one of my professors who's very into he works for the news, and he ended up saying that they even got a memorandum to be at Patriot Place for 10 a.m. tomorrow, and nothing ended up happening today. There was supposed to allegedly be some sort of thing, but that turned out to be a false rumor. There's just so much stuff going down here, and listen, I can understand where you're saying, oh, he thanked them when he left. But it's not like Tom Brady's leaving the Bucs and now going to the Chargers and he's going to another team.
Right.
No. This is it. This is him walking away from the league.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't know. I could understand where you could say, yeah, I thanked him 2 years ago. I mean, when I was going through that slide, I was like, okay, yeah, Tampa. I was like, okay, where's the Patriots? And eventually I'm like, wait, his family? Like, what is happening here? Yeah. And there was nothing there. And I was like, oh shoot, he actually just did this. I was reading the Tampa thing. I was like, oh, this could be really petty if he didn't include the Patriots. And I was like, oh shoot, he's not including the Patriots in this. And I knew immediately everyone was going to lose it. I was like, oh, this is going to end badly. Zevi, when you saw this, like, what was your reaction to this whole thing?
I was kind of shocked. I mean, I grew up a Patriots fan, as awkward as that sounds, growing up in LA, but I just feel like he was so much to the team, to the city, to the state. I mean, how could he not? It almost makes me wonder what type of fallout he had with Bill Belichick or the whole Patriots organization when he left. I don't know if you guys caught on to this, but Brady actually in his picture, this is him at Foxborough.
Yeah,
he used the Foxborough picture when he beat the New England Patriots as his farewell picture.
Let's be real. He played like trash that game.
Yeah, I know.
He played like trash.
He almost lost.
He almost lost. He did not look like himself in that game. No. Honestly, if the Patriots had won that game, people would have said that Bill Belichick had him figured out.
Yeah, but you made a great point. Is that what was the fallout with Belichick? Right. Because I know that they didn't really talk before he left. Brady wanted to, and Belichick really couldn't.
Right.
And during that game, when he came back and played the Patriots in Foxborough, they met after the game, just them two.
That's right. They had like a whole meeting.
So I don't know, maybe good came out of that, something didn't, but it's also Bill Belichick, and he really doesn't have any feelings.
Yeah.
But
at least from what we know.
Yeah, I mean, I remember Tom Brady was getting mad or Alex Guerrero said that Tom Brady was getting mad because he was treated like he was that 20-year-old. But I'm like, Belichick does it to everybody. Like, quit crying.
He literally does do it to everyone. Yeah, it's something where you do have to understand where Brady at the level he's at, I think does command a certain level of respect. But it does. But Bill Belichick also needs to enforce on the team that I'm going to treat you like everyone else.
Right. See,
that is the dynamic. It's a tough thing to walk.
Yeah, I can understand this, and I think maybe you will too. But there's a kid on my swim team who is just a monster. He's just a beast. Nobody can really beat him.
Right.
And our coach treats him the exact same as everybody else because everybody, even I know that if I saw him getting treated differently, I'm like, well, if he's not doing this, I'm not doing it. Right. Like, well, what am I going to do? And then you lose all the respect and stuff like that. So I can see where Belichick comes from. But yes, it is Tom Brady. But come on, like.
Yeah, it's a tough situation as a coach to be, to be there. You got a guy bringing in Alex Guerrero every day. And like you said, it is Tom Brady, but he's also coaching 52 other guys on that football team, that see themselves, just as great, because these guys all have a very high ego, and as they should, they're playing in a professional league.
Yeah.
And they don't want to be looked upon any differently, so it's definitely a tough situation, and it's unfortunate that it had to have such a weird fallout, especially after so long.
20 years.
You'd almost think that this guy was going to retire a Patriot and it was going to be this perfect story, and then this ugly fallout. Doesn't mention the Patriots. It was just very awkward and unfortunate, I'd say, as a Patriots fan.
Yeah, he goes to Tampa and becomes this like crazy dude.
Right.
You see him getting all these fights every once in a while. I know against the Buffalo Bills, like Ed Oliver or something like that, sacked him and got up in Brady's face, and Brady went back at him, and the next play runs for like 15 yards and like throws the ball in someone's face. I'm like, who is this guy?
I think the commentator mentioned it could have been the Rams game that Brady got his first ever unsportsmanlike conduct of his whole career.
It was his last game.
He really turned into a Florida man.
Right, exactly.
he reached his final form. I remember I was watching that game and the reports about him being non-committal were coming in before the game, and I see them down 27-3, and I'm just like, well, if this is it for Tom Brady, might as well relive some of your classics on your way out.
Right,
I was like, Jesus Christ. I mean, and then when I'm seeing it happen, I'm like, I never thought I was going to see something equivalent to the 28-3 game again. I'm just seeing it again. I'm like, it's not happening again, is it?
Answer me this. Say against the Rams, Tom Brady did come back and won, and then is in the Super Bowl again.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, he wins the NFC Championship.
Okay.
Would you think that the NFL was scripted? Because I know I would.
Honestly, I was leaving my dad's house because I had to come back here for the awesome Brian Idea program.
Don't lie to yourself. Do not lie to yourself about the Brian Idea program.
Look, I did mine on Zoom.
Really?
Oh
my God.
You are so lucky.
I sick freshman year.
I mean, listen, I love Bryant University, but the best idea for the idea program would be to end the idea program. It would be to end it because
they did some cool, actually, not to cut you off.
Oh, go ahead.
They did some cool things. Don't get me wrong, but like the 9 to 12, just to work on a project, they didn't give us like the project we were working on until like 9 o'clock. I mean, it was insane. I was like, when do we sleep? We have classes in 2 days.
No, literally. It's terrible. I mean, I think I saw one of the things was literally on improving mental health. And I was like, well, to start, you could end this program because I can tell you right now, this thing just sucks. It's terrible. I'm sorry. I love to be a spokesperson for Bryant, but Jesus Christ. I mean, it's not fun. Yeah. But something I want to get back to real quick. You said you're a Pats fan. I know how you became a Pats fan, but can you explain again how you became a Pats fan for living in California? How this happened?
My mom is from New York. And
what?
My mom is from New York, and I know. Hold on,
it gets weirder. Yeah.
Okay. She hates the Giants. She hates the Giants. She hates the Jets.
Why? Because they both suck.
Maybe that might be what it was. All I know is in California, every single week she would watch Tom Brady, and as I got older, she would tell me that she loved how great he was and she loved how good he looked. I mean, can you argue with her?
No, I cannot.
Right. And I'm growing up in like 07 Brady. I mean, he's winning games. You know what I mean? How can you not watch the guy? So over time, I just was filled with Patriots. It was almost bound to happen.
So you're still a Patriots fan now that he's gone?
Yeah, still a Patriots fan when Cam Newton was throwing ducks across the field.
I have a Cam Newton jersey.
Really?
That's tough.
Do you wear it proudly?
I mean, yeah.
There are a lot of people like Cam Newton fans.
You know why? You know why I wear it proudly?
Let's hear it.
It's just real quick. NBA, just real quick.
Okay.
You Dwayne Wade. Everybody knows who Dwayne Wade is.
Of course.
Do you remember when you went to the Cavs?
Yes.
Remember how he was there for like a month?
He was there for a cup of coffee.
I want a Dwayne Wade Cavs jersey. Would you have a Dwayne Wade Cavs jersey? No, you're probably gonna have a Heat one.
Okay.
Same with you, or a Bulls one. He was pretty productive in the Bulls.
He was pretty productive.
But I want the jersey that no one has. Cam Newton was here for 1 year, so I was like, screw it. If he's gone, he's gone. I have a Cam Newton Patriots jersey.
Yeah, but Ty, you can now go to Dick's Sporting Goods and get a Cam Newton Pats jersey for $20.
If I wanted a Patriots jersey that was literally around for a cup of coffee, I'm taking Chad Ochocinco.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a good jersey.
Reggie Wayne.
Oh, he was. That's right. Oh my God,
he was here for like one game.
Didn't they have Eric Decker too for a little bit?
Yeah.
And Tim Tebow.
Eric Decker.
Tim Tebow. Yeah.
Demaryius Thomas. The list goes on.
No, yeah, they had a bunch of guys. Antonio Brown.
Josh Gordon.
Facts. There are so many guys for that.
Okay. Going back to Tom Brady.
Okay.
Yes.
One of the reasons that I think made him leave this team was because at one time they had Antonio Brown here, Josh Gordon, Demaryius Thomas, Julian Edelman, and then like Jacoby Myers was that little guy that still
Philip Dorsett.
Philip Dorsett too.
There's that famous photo of them. It was week 2 of the 2019 season, and it's them all sitting on the bench. I think like AB or something, like drinking a water. It's like a very it's like a famous photo, like kind of like in the meme culture of like Patriots Nation. I mean, I'll tell you what. I remember watching I almost knocked the mic out. But I remember watching Super Bowl 53, and I remember watching them win that game, and there was just like a sense that all right, this is it probably for the Pats dynasty, like as is, like you were watching, and I was like,
it was weird.
I
felt weird.
Yeah. I was like, this feels like this could be it. And whether Brady's back next year or not, it felt like you were watching like the end of something, because you heard that Gronk was going to leave. You knew certain things were happening, and it was like this might be it. And then I remember the Pats go out and they get Antonio Brown like that fall. I remember I was here, and we were doing like Bryant orientation stuff my freshman year, and my friend calls me. We're in the middle of bingo, because of course that's what you're doing at Bryant.
Yep.
Of course there's a bingo game at Bryant, and I get a call from my friend. He goes, "Yo, we just got a B." I'm like, "Yo," I remember I sprint back into
who would have
thought? I sprint back into bingo. I tell any sports fan that I had met within like the past like 2 hours, I'm like, "Yo, we just got a B. We just got him." I'm like through the moon, and I'm like, we might run it back.
Yeah.
I'm like,
then he just goes insane.
Yeah, no. So. Then he committed a crime, and obviously got himself off the team, and probably now out of the league unless the Ravens actually do fulfill his dreams and give him that shot.
And then we released Demaryius Thomas, which I don't know why he actually produced pretty well in that preseason game.
He was fine for us. I mean, he went to the Jets, and I think was okay with them too.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then he we tweeted something. He's like, I have something to prove. Like smashing the Patriots, something like that. I'm like, dude, you were here for like a season, not even a season, and then he went to the Jets and then didn't do anything. Yeah. And I'm like, loser.
But not for real, man. RIP to Demaryius Thomas.
Oh yeah, he was amazing, but he was at the tail end of his career, so he had nothing left to prove.
I know.
He was a great player.
Yeah,
absolutely. But I think he was a product of Peyton Manning.
He was solid with Tebow though.
He could, yeah, he was.
I mean, that into his own with Peyton Manning, but he was fine with Tebow.
DT had the game-winning touchdown against the Steelers.
Exactly.
That play is cool. Yeah, that play is cool.
Yeah, that was nasty. Especially the Steelers defense was always so good. Yeah. Oh my god! And the fact that he did that one play right off the bat, that was pretty cool to watch.
Exactly.
I want to talk about real quick. You mentioned like the NFC and AFC championship games.
Yeah.
So Mathew Stafford goes into Tampa and beats Tom Brady.
Yes, with one magnificent throw to Cooper Kupp.
Yes, but now it's the NFC Championship game, and he wins. I'm taking Stafford all the way, by the way.
Yeah. So here's the thing with me. I will say this. We're gonna get into the games and whatnot, but I'm very conflicted with who I want in the Super Bowl, because
I don't know who I want to win.
I don't know. This is honestly the most nicest Super Bowl matchup in history, where you don't hate anyone.
Yeah.
Stafford deserves it, but Joe Burrow is cool.
Yeah.
No,
he's cool.
Joe Burrow is cool. So
He's cold, I should say.
I want
cold.
Joe Shiesty.
So yeah, exactly. Joe Shiesty, Joe Burr, whatever you want to call him. But dude, this is how I feel. I want the city of Cincinnati and the people of small town Ohio to have a championship. I want Mathew Stafford to have a ring. I don't want the Rams to have a ring. I want Mathew Stafford to have a ring because of how much he was stuck in that hellhole of Detroit.
Yeah, but I think it just proves how good Mathew Stafford actually is.
100%.
He's one of the, when you talk about the quarterbacks that we grew up watching, and pretty much all of them are out of the league now, but you got Brady, Roethlisberger, Breeze, Phil Rivers, Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, and Matt Ryan's still in the league. He was still really good, but then there's Stafford that no one really knew how good he was because he was in Detroit.
Unless you were in the NFC and you were able to NFC North and you were able to see what he could do against your team.
Oh, and obviously Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
But Stafford is one of the fastest players to throw for 20,000, 30,000, 10,000 pass yards or something like that. And he deserves to win this ring.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that. Rodgers,
unless he plays like Detroit Lions Mathew Stafford.
That's true.
But Detroit Lions Mathew Stafford,
he wasn't bad.
He was surrounded with crap in there.
No, but you can tell
Tyler,
this Rams team loses really bad when he plays like crap.
No, exactly.
They did it all year.
But Tyler, having the stuff Mathew Stafford the guys Mathew Stafford worked with in Detroit would be the equivalent if we stepped on the field with Zevi and it was just like, hey man, I'm your slot guy today. How we doing?
Let's do it. Let's run it.
Let's run it. For yourself, man. I got hands.
No, he played till 8th grade. This guy might be able to get it done.
Dude, I got hands.
I played flag till 9th grade.
All right, so now we got competition.
Yeah, exactly. So listen, listen.
I'm bigger than you. I'm a bigger target.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We got Calvin Johnson right over here.
I may not be faster, but
yeah. I'm like Austin Collie. I'm gonna get crushed with a hospital pass over the middle.
Dude, the poor guy kept getting hits.
Oh my god,
poor guy.
He was on the Patriots.
I know.
Yeah, that's another one.
The Patriots always got guys, towards the end of the career that still had a little bit left to produce and just found a way to get it out of them.
Bill Belichick literally got
got
every last thing out of guys.
No, literally, he would do it until they were done.
No,
exactly. They just quit.
But no, I mean, I really want Mathew Stafford to get a ring again. I would love the people of Cincinnati to get a ring because I'm like, there are no LA Ram fans. Let's just be real here. The only people rooting for the LA Rams are fans of the Lions and like Mathew Stafford and want him to do well.
They shouldn't have moved 2 teams to LA.
No. Yeah, no, and they're both playing in the same stadium.
The Chargers should have stayed. The Chargers should have stayed.
San Diego.
The Rams could have moved. I mean, that was fine.
Yeah,
but I mean, Kroenke did St. Louis dirty though.
Yeah, but the Chargers shouldn't have moved. They had a solid fan base in San Diego.
Yeah,
they had an amazing fan base. They had a good thing out there.
Now, my mom would take me up to a couple games. It was awesome over there.
For real?
I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened out there.
I couldn't tell you.
You got the Raiders moved as well, but that one's kind of lit.
Like, I love their stadium.
The
stadium was cool.
Sick.
Yeah,
I think they're hosting the Super Bowl in like a couple of years. They're hosting the Pro Bowl this year, but I think
they might be hosting the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think this year it's like a trial run to like see like, oh, how can we like get people in? So
they might be hosting this year's Super Bowl.
Oh, really?
This year's Super Bowl?
Yeah, because Cali might be going back to mandates.
Oh, okay,
and like no fans or something like that. And the NFL is like, screw this. Like apparently it's either Vegas or Dallas.
Okay, I did.
I heard about Dallas. Yeah. I didn't hear that.
In my head, I'm like, just go to Jacksonville. I feel like Jacksonville would be kind of cool because obviously last year was in Tampa,
right?
But I feel like Jacksonville or Miami would be amazing. Yeah. But it was in.
If you go anywhere in Florida, you're not gonna have any problem with stuff being locked down.
But the past 2 Super Bowls were Miami and then before COVID and then Tampa.
Yeah.
So I feel like might as well throw in Jacksonville in there.
Run the Florida circuit.
I mean, might as well. They got a nice stadium. It's gorgeous in Jacksonville.
I mean, honestly, yeah. But I mean, dude. Looking at I want to get into one of the games. I think I'm going to go with the Cincinnati game to start with. So obviously
that game gave me a heart attack.
Exactly. So it's 21-3. It's 18 points. Mahomes is like running away with it. And I'm just like, this is how the underdogs end. Like I was like, you know what? It was a good run. It was fun while it lasted, but you know, the Bengals, they're still kind of a while away. And then Joe Burrow turned into LSU Joe Burrow. And I mean, I'm in awe.
Unreal.
I love it. I love what he was able to do. Yeah. I mean, just seeing him
out
there.
He's an escape artist.
Oh my God.
He was supposed to be sacked at least 5 times more than he was, and he got out of all 5.
I mean, that dude's O-line is like butter. I'm sorry.
They have to address it in the draft.
It's atrocious.
Well, that's mostly what I'm worried about with the Super Bowl. I mean, the Rams D-line is insane.
Oh my God.
Aaron Donald, Von Miller,
Leonard Floyd. They have all those guys. You know
exactly.
And then what happens when they get to you real quick? Jalen Ramsey's locking down Jamar Chase.
Yeah, it's gonna be scary.
That's gonna be a matchup I'm really excited for. Those guys.
But like the Chiefs just like, I don't know. It's not like Patrick Mahomes blew the game. I think everybody around him blew the game. That offensive line did not protect him in the end. He was getting they're forcing him out of the pocket, and he threw 2 interceptions. Yeah. I mean, one of them was batted and then caught, but the other one was just a blatant mistake by him or a good play.
Yeah,
by Jesse Bates.
It was what I think was such a pivotal point in the game was right before the half when Tyreek Hill gets tackled by Eli Apple. Clock runs out. You know, you just you literally just passed by 3 points. Easily 3 points.
That's literally
that was a huge momentum shift.
Exactly,
huge.
Like that's usually the area where the Chiefs always strike. Like that's usually what they always do. They'll go down, they'll score, and then they'll double dip in the second half if they have the ball for that possession. So when they got stopped like that, I was like, oh shoot, like they actually might have a shot with that.
Right.
I mean, then we get to halftime and we have the monstrosity of that Walker Hayes halftime show. Did you guys end up seeing that halftime?
I actually didn't.
Dude, the speakers were in the right behind the CBS announcers. Yeah.
So as soon as it goes to CBS, like the Walker Hayes guy is
so to put it in perspective, the speaker was probably about from the floor to the ceiling, roughly. Now you face that way, and
industrial
then put them by
grade
the door, like way over here, and then they're blasting behind you. It was bad. I mean, really bad.
These things were like industrial grade speakers.
Like, it was 15 feet.
Oh my God. And all of a sudden it's just like you hear them like announce the halftime show. And I'm like, oh, they're going to have like some way to like fix this, like with audio and like, because like it's CBS, they have the money to do it. And all of a sudden I just hear Walker Hayes say, you guys ready to rock? I'm like, oh no. And like
poor placement of the speakers.
Oh my God.
CBS was already there.
Well, because it wasn't like, oh, there's like a little background music to the highlights. I was like, oh, that could have been cool. But like literally at the announcers are like, what? Like, what are you saying? Like they couldn't hear each other. Like, I don't know if it was Nate Burleson, but one of the guys literally ends up saying like one guy's like says,
I can't hear you.
Well, one guy said a take. One guy said a take about the half, and he ended up saying, I don't know if one of these guys have said this already, then he goes on with his take. So that was obviously funny. And then coming out of halftime, just the Bengals took over. Obviously, the connection to Chase, they were finally able to get him one-on-one for a touchdown. And then T. Higgins obviously had a nice drive in OT with those guys. The entire offensive unit was really starting to gel in the second half.
That touchdown to Jamar Chase was probably the hardest throw and the hardest catch to make.
Yes.
Jamar Chase was not open.
No.
At all.
You know, it's crazy when you play with somebody for so long. And I have this connection with a lot of my guys. There's a sense of trust where you have the ability where you could just throw the ball and they're gonna make a play, you know. And if they don't catch it, at least it's like, oh, okay, like he almost got it. Like there was a couple times he almost came down with a one-hand crazy catch.
Who's that guy for you usually?
I honestly couldn't. I don't have a specific. They're all different. You know what I mean? I think
different situations.
Yeah, they're all
different.
I think that applies to Joe Burrow with T. Higgins and his CJ Uzomah or whatever, his tight end. So it's just that sense of trust where you can throw it up and put it in a certain spot where it's like if he doesn't get it, nobody else will. And then Jamar Chase, being the athletic freak he is,
exactly,
goes and makes the play. You know, it's important when you have guys like that. And I think that was a great pick for them to get Jamar Chase to pair with Joe Burrow.
Well, this Bengals team was put to this front office.
They've done a hell of a job.
Home run.
Oh my God.
I mean, you land Joe Burrow, and then in the second round, they pick up T. Higgins, who's huge, amazing, but he's not a stud wide receiver.
Right.
He's your second guy.
But it's a good one. But with him with Jamar Chase, and then having who's it on the outside?
Tyler Boyd.
Tyler Boyd. Yeah. Then having him on the outside. I mean, in my opinion, obviously you need to address the O-line, and you need to do it because, in my opinion, this is probably going to be the best offensive unit Joe Burrow has in his time with Cincinnati, because they were able to get all these guys because they're
all so young.
Yes.
Well, they're all so young
for a while.
Exactly. They're all young, but they're going to have to really capitalize it on, in the, 3 to 4 years that they're going to have these guys all under contract for, because
small contracts, at least.
Well, small contract, because Cincinnati is a very small market team. And, once these guys get out there, if Cincinnati is competing, they're not going to have top 5 draft picks in each round that you can go and, snag a guy. If you're in the 20s, you're going to have to kind of, make some things work. And
you can easily get a stud offensive lineman in the 20s.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, exactly.
For sure.
So exactly. Like the Cincinnati Bengals will definitely be able to make a move for the O-line come this offseason. But, I don't know. You're going to have to really utilize this team while you have it, because once these guys hit free agency, Burrow's not going to have a team like this in Cincinnati.
Yeah. And then, but they also
have to strike while the iron's hot.
One of the things that I think they really did well was their wide receivers. Jamar Chase is a true number 1. T. Higgins is a true number 2, and Boyd is a definite number 3.
Yeah.
And they're playing in those respective spots, and it works perfectly.
Yeah.
But they drafted Joe Mixon really, really late, because if he had some legal thing when he was coming in the draft, and I don't remember what round he slipped to, but he was supposed to be the 6th first round.
Really?
Pick. Yeah. Is either 4, 5, or 6, but he was supposed to be a first round draft pick coming out of Oklahoma because he was a stud.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he drops.
He was selected with the 48th overall pick in the draft, so not that late.
Okay.
48th, so second round.
Still pretty late for what he was projected.
He was supposed to be really high.
Yes, like he was supposed to be like top
first
5
running back drafted. Was he picked in Joe Burrow's draft?
No,
it was the year before.
He was picked like a couple years before.
Okay, so then they planted this amazing
the staff
team,
did a great job,
and then the defense just fell into place. I mean, you signed Trey Hendrickson this offseason. What is it? What I can't remember his first name. Hubbard. He plays on the opposite side of Trey Hendrickson.
For some reason, I can only
Sam. Is it Sam? It might be Sam.
Be.
It's Sam or Cam.
Okay.
Either way, those two on the outside just destroy quarterbacks.
Sam Hubbard.
Yeah, and just get in their heads.
Right.
And you got Jesse Bates as their all-pro safety.
Yeah.
And Eli Apple is out there. I mean, he's kind of trash, but he's doing his job. He does
get a lot of hate, but he does his job.
He's doing his job right now. I mean,
Mixon was drafted in 2017, so he's been around for a little bit.
What was Burrow, 19 or 20?
20,
I think, because he won the 2019 championship.
Yeah.
They drafted
either way,
right after.
This team is built to win, and then their kicker, man.
I didn't know McPherson.
Shooter McPherson. I love
it. I didn't know a kicker could have the you know what I'm talking about. The size of them. Holy crap.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen punters like Pat McAfee kind of have that kind of swagger, but I mean, what, all the fans in Cincinnati right now are calling him Shooter McPherson, which I love.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he's going out there.
You ever see that video when they're like, shoot, one guy goes Shooter, and then the punter, the long snapper, and somebody else come over, shooter. It's so funny.
No, I mean, I've literally seen like the entire city of Cincinnati embrace this guy. And I mean, like usually with kickers, like the last thing they do is talk about their kicks. Like they have the confidence to say, oh, I can knock this thing through. Yeah. But at least, you know, when I've kind of like seen certain kickers, like they're very, you know, mild mannered until you get out there. And then he's like, oh, I had that thing. But like no guy, like, I mean,
no man says it before he makes the kick.
You can definitely tell that he doesn't believe in jinxes. Like, cause like if I was a kicker, I would just be like, you know, I'd have the confidence, but I would just be like, I'm not saying anything until that thing goes through the uprights.
Yeah, what did he say? Like, I guess we're going to the Super Bowl to Joe Burrow before he
we're going to the
field.
AFC Championship game.
Okay,
I guess we're going to the AFC Championship.
I guess we're going to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, because that was against,
like what, a 50 something.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like that was, oh my god.
Yeah, 40 some. But either way, it's not an easy field goal to make.
Not.
Especially as a rookie in a big game.
Yeah,
it's
the crowd's loud. Everything's going on.
Yeah, because and him knowing his team deserves to be there.
Right.
I mean, their seed in the playoffs was not right.
Yeah.
Tennessee shouldn't have been the 1 seed. I mean, they were, but
I don't know. That was a weird fallout as far as the AFC goes. I don't know. They went back and forth.
It was. I mean, the Patriots were the number 1 seed for like what, 2-3 weeks. Right. And it was just, and they just completely fell off the bus.
Yeah,
like, I don't know what happened to them.
The AFC was a little wild.
Yeah, but that game was amazing. They started off really slow, and I think it was because they're very young. Mm-hmm. But and they just don't have an experience. They got a young coach. I mean, the coach is younger than Tom Brady, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Zach Taylor. I mean, I know people, and it's kind of myself included. I'm not really huge on this whole Zach Taylor train. I'm glad that he hasn't you know, coached them out of a position.
Pieces just fell in place for him.
But yeah, a guy that you know, has reminded me of this whole Shooter McPherson thing is he was a kicker for the Vikings back in the 90s. My other co-host Tyler Tucker is definitely going to hate this, but
from Anderson. Yeah,
Gary Anderson. You know, made every single extra point and I believe field goal during the regular season. Except one during the NFC Championship game, misses a critical field goal against the Falcons, kept him out of the Super Bowl.
Wow. Yeah, but do you know what team he kept out of the Super Bowl?
The Vikings.
Randall Cunningham. Oh yeah. Randy Moss.
Sheesh.
And then Chris Carter. And that offense was insane. Yes. They went 15-1 that year.
Oh my god, they didn't make the Super Bowl?
Yeah, well, he missed
literally the field goal.
Literally the critical field goal after making literally every single one the entire season. So yeah, like I mean, the Vikings are just another story of just misery. But yeah. But we were talking about Mathew Stafford too in the NFC on the NFC side. We were talking about, you know, his performance. Troy Aikman ended up saying that he thought he was hurt in that game because of one throw that he ended up making downfield to you know, one San Francisco 49ers defensive back, Jaquiski Tart. I mean, man, I am watching this game.
We call him Jaquiski Pop-Tart.
Dude, I feel so bad for that guy because literally I see Mathew Stafford throw this thing up. And like you said, where you're saying, oh, if he plays like Detroit Mathew Stafford, I'm seeing this ball
forces these really bad throws. I think you definitely notice this.
Yeah.
He loves to throw deep. And I mean, why do you think 2 of the greatest receiving seasons ever have come from players because of Mathew Stafford?
Yes.
He just launches these bombs when he gets flushed out of the pocket, but it also makes him throw really, really bad decisions. Yeah. I mean, he's got to hit these guys. He's running these slants and they're wide open, you know, 10 yards, 5 yards, 8 yards. And then he just 46 yards. Yeah. Screw it.
Well, I think
he gets a pick.
He was able to get away with it a little bit in Detroit because he had players like Calvin Johnson.
Calvin Johnson was covered by
Galladay.
3 Cincinnati Bengals and he still came down with the ball.
Exactly. I mean, you guys have freak animals like Kenny Galladay and Calvin Johnson who are just huge human beings and going up and catching the passes. It's, you know, it's a little easier, but people like Van Jefferson, Odell Beckham, Cooper Kupp, they're great receivers. Don't get me wrong, but they're not.
They don't have the size. Yeah, they don't have the size.
They're not that big athlete. Exactly.
And the reason that he can throw the same balls like he threw to Calvin Johnson is because they're just wide open. You can't keep up with Cooper Kupp. And Cooper Kupp, I remember when this guy was drafted and everyone was like, I think it was like Mike Mayock, I think was still doing the announcing and the draft stuff. Yeah. Was like, watch out for this Cooper Kupp. He's a Julian Edelman comparison. You know, if he lands with the right team, it's gonna be golden. They're like, oh, he needs to land with the Patriots, obviously, because that'd be amazing. And he lands with the Rams, and then he slowly starts to build up. And Mathew Stafford comes to town, and boom,
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, when he was when he broke in, he kind of was like, maybe
a huge upside.
Yeah,
but he needed to be coached right.
It was like, he could maybe be like a Cole Beasley's, like some of that type.
Right.
And then exactly like Mathew Stafford gets to town, and he just turns into a monster with his guys. It was ridiculous, like how much he's been able to, he kind of just went from like a slot role player guy and has just exploded on the league. It's ridiculous.
He went to like in what I'm thinking right now is. Say there's Cooper Kupp before the season, then there's Julian Edelman, and then there's Cooper Kupp now.
Yes,
exactly. He was about, everyone was like, oh, he's going to turn to that Julian Edelman player, and then all of a sudden just blew past him.
Exactly. Like it's crazy what's been able to happen with him. But obviously, I do have to say that whole Jaquiski Tart drop, he has handled it very well on social media. I did
see that.
Like he actually has just come out and like, most guys would just be like, oh, it's the NFL, like these things happen, like I could drop something, but he ended up saying, nah, man, it's my fault. I really kind of cost us there. And I mean, in reality, he did. But I mean, I feel him. I remember playing at a JV game, and there was a ball that I thought should have just been an absolute, can of corn. And, sometimes just things get by you and stuff can drop in. So, I mean, it's definitely tough. Here's the thing. I don't think that's necessarily going to be, that shouldn't essentially be what is remembered as the downfall of the 49er season, because Jimmy Garoppolo still had a chance to go out there and do stuff. And
I can play better than Jimmy Garoppolo.
That
guy just keeps winning for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, like that last drive for him, where I mean, he was going backwards. Like you saw it too, where he tried to do the shuttle pass to his running back and got picked off.
He should have just taken the sack.
No, I mean, you really should have taken the sack there. I mean, like,
or if you see that guy,
what were your thoughts when you saw that whole thing with him, trying to make that play? I can understand like trying to dump something off, but at that point you already have guys wrapping you up.
I mean, he's trying to make a play, the game's on the line. But something that's taught at every level, it's just when the play's dead, like you got to know that for what it is, and you can't
force anything.
Right. You can't try and make something that's not there. I think that the smartest thing that he could have done, he had the ability to get rid of it. Perfect. Throw it to the ground. Throw it right in front of him, because the running back's going to catch it and get 2 yards. Maybe the clock keeps running. I mean, maybe, I don't know if they had timeouts at the time, but they burn him. Just throw it in the ground. He takes
that shuffle pass and throws it just past the running back out of bounds. And that's not intentional grounding.
Yeah.
I mean, hell of a play. He stayed up. He avoided, what was it, Aaron Donald? I mean, that's a hard.
Right. Aaron Donald and Von Miller are both coming out.
That's hard to do.
Exactly.
But get rid of the ball. Just throw it to the ground. Live to fight another play. I don't think it was fourth down.
It was going to be fourth down coming.
Right. It was going to be fourth down. You got another shot. You know what I mean? Instead of just throwing the game away.
Exactly.
For something that really wasn't there.
Throwing his 49ers career away.
Yeah, that's true.
No, literally. I mean, there's a chance that he might get traded. But another thing too with him doing that, I mean, as an athlete, you have to know your strengths and you also have to know your weaknesses.
Right, 100%.
With Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, when he came in the league, obviously the guy he was, supposed to replace was Tom Brady.
Yeah.
He obviously was more mobile than Tom Brady, but he's not Lamar Jackson. No. I mean, he can make moves. So when I'm seeing him do stuff like that, I'm like, all right, if like you're a Pat Mahomes and you have like that kind of mobility, maybe you can make a play. But when you're more of a traditional kind of pocket passer, you do eventually, I think, you do just have to, go down and just take the sack.
Be smart. You need to be smart.
Yeah.
But
especially in a game like that. Kidding me?
Yeah. No, exactly. But you actually said something pretty interesting about him throwing his 49ers career away. There are reports coming out, I think it was either yesterday or today, that Jimmy Garoppolo is expecting a trade within the next couple of obviously once the offseason hits, but he expects one to be imminent. And he's saying he wants to go to a contender. There were two heavy favorites that are currently on the market right now. One is the Denver Broncos, who are in desperate need of a quarterback. Obviously, love Teddy Bridgewater.
No.
What?
No, Denver. He's not going to Denver.
I know. I know where he's going.
He's not going to Denver.
He's going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
You think so?
No. I don't know about that, but he's not going to Denver.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? The pieces are falling into place for Rodgers to end up in Denver.
That's a good point.
They just hired their offensive coordinator as their head coach. And I can guarantee you Devontae Adams is going to follow him no matter where he goes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams are staying together.
Yes. So those, I think I 100% think those guys are all going to Denver. And I think you see Jimmy Garoppolo end up in Tampa or Washington, but I think Washington is pretty good with Taylor Heineke.
Yeah, they're not bad. They're not bad.
I like him.
I do too.
I could see the Bucks getting desperate enough and trying to make a deal for Aaron Rodgers.
Really?
I said that during my last episode.
I wouldn't mind that.
Like that could be very interesting because he's what, like 37 or so. If
why would they trade for him?
Because he still has 1 year left on his deal. So if you could theoretically get Aaron Rodgers down there and he could allegedly play to as long as Brady played, to maybe even just 43, you could possibly get 5 to 6 years out of him in Tampa. And you could like give this thing a little more life and then blow it up, which eventually you're going to have to do down Tampa with the way it's
Tampa
set
team like is just a quarterback away from being a contender again.
Yeah,
and especially
and it was with Winston,
especially in the division they're playing in. I mean, the Saints just lost Sean Payton, and it looks like they're going to blow things up. They're in cap hell right now.
Dude,
the Falcons.
I'm so mad that he quit because I think with him and Winston was going to be really good, really good down there.
Yeah,
because before he went down with the injury, they were making sure he was being a game manager. He wasn't doing anything crazy because that's when he throws the interceptions and does something stupid. But he was being a game manager and using his talent.
Yeah,
he's really good.
He had some big wins. He beat the Packers right off the bat. He beat Tom Brady. I think like we're on week 4 or whatever. Yeah, but
he throws these like bombs like Stafford, and he always connects.
Yeah.
But then he gets selfish and throws the interceptions.
Yeah.
But with Sean Payton, you could have limited that.
What do you guys think about A-Rod to Indy? Jonathan Taylor, great running back.
Great offensive line.
Great offensive line. They got some good pieces at the wide receiver.
Did you get that from Pat McAfee?
Yeah, I was watching that. I mean, that'd be awesome, dude.
Yeah, especially if you bring Devontae into that whole situation too. That could be really nice.
Hear me out.
Okay.
Before you say anything, I know we're both going to give me some strange looks. A team that I could see going for Aaron Rodgers maybe is the New York Jets solely because they could use the young quarterback to trade, possibly. Okay. But they have some strong wide receivers. They got a couple offensive linemen that are studs. Their defense isn't amazing.
Yeah.
They got some young talent, and the Williams brothers are really talented. And then you got 2 top 10 draft picks this year. You could score on both of those. I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
But do I really see him going there? No.
Right.
But it's an interesting spot for a free agent to go.
Yeah.
It's it's interesting.
Another sleeper team. It's not going to happen, but my roommates have been talking about this one, so I might as well just say it was the Carolina Panthers was a team that got brought up because they like the situation with Matt Rule down there. They think that Rodgers could definitely appreciate a guy like that. And then, I think they're in a decent enough cap situation to where they could get Devontae.
Right.
So it could be kind of a deal with those guys and then maybe throw something in with Darnold, but I don't know. They could also have decent picks to trade, which would make it interesting. I don't know. There's a lot of things that are getting thrown around, but I don't know. I will say this. When it comes to picking the Super Bowl this year, I did a terrible job. So we have so in my family, we have, it's not like you do Super Bowl squares. It's basically literally like a March Madness bracket that we do.
Miami.
And,
totally. They're totally off topic, but Miami.
Oh yeah.
Sleeper team.
Possibly.
Okay.
Possibly. They've been weird with Tua. They've been really weird with Tua.
He's really good. I don't know what they did firing Brian Flores.
Yeah.
That was a really weird situation.
That was a terrible idea.
That was a really weird situation. I know you're going to get into that, on a different episode, but
exactly. I mean, with the whole Fallout thing going in there now, we can definitely tell that it was more than just like it being friction.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff to really just undo there. So that's why I feel like this thing needs like an episode of its own.
For sure. Yeah.
So I'm like, this is like nothing. This like needs more than like a 15-minute segment. It's kind of nuts.
But Tua's good.
Oh yeah.
Tua has his moments, but he also has these bright shining moments.
He's also really young.
Exactly. But he's also a lefty. So like it kind of hinders him a little bit, but it also doesn't at the same time.
Yeah. No, I feel that. I mean, I really like the connection with him and Jalen Waddle. But sometimes I do wonder, would there be a more competent quarterback that could really take them over the top? And Rodgers could definitely be a guy like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know. Would Rodgers does Rodgers though want to go into the AFC East and have to, battle against Buffalo?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I don't know. I see Tampa and I see Denver. Denver would be tough though because he is battling. I mean, he'll be able to handle the Raiders, but you're also facing the Chargers and the Chiefs.
The AFC is really young and really talented.
Yeah.
Mac Jones is coming up.
It really is flipping.
Zach Wilson could be coming up. I still haven't seen enough of him.
Yeah.
But Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then, you got to see. Yeah. Also, Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I mean, they've been talking about that connection forever with him and Mike Tomlin. They love each other. So
that team is a quarterback away from being good. They have receivers on the outside.
Denver.
They have guys.
I said there are a couple teams that are quarterback away. It's Denver, Pittsburgh, and I think there was one more. It might have been Miami.
Yeah.
But I can't remember the other ones. But those two are 100% quarterback away.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with them this offseason. Obviously, when that goes down, in 3 weeks' time, when the Super Bowl's up, we kind of enter into that kind of hell between
Tennessee.
Yeah. Tennessee.
They're not leaving.
Garbage.
They're not. I just
Tannehill's
don't.
garbage.
Not happening.
I can't see them.
Happening.
Yeah, I can't see them parting with Tannehill yet. I just can't.
They've given too much on that contract. They ain't
huge contract. I think they're going to give him at least one more year to prove himself.
I think so.
I mean, they go number 1 seed. You know what I mean?
I mean, you literally had the number 1 seed.
Yeah,
like that is the thing. And plus, Derrick Henry just got back off injury.
Yeah.
So it's like
maybe they're a different team if Derrick Henry's full steam.
Exactly.
He doesn't have that long break.
Exactly. So I don't know. But but I was going to say, obviously in 3 weeks time, we enter into that time where it's basically hell across the sports world where, football's over. There'll be some offseason rumblings in March, but between the end of the Super Bowl and the start of spring training, or, not even the start of spring training, the start of the MLB regular season rather is, pretty much like the longest time in sports as a sports fan, at least for me. I mean, I know NBA and NHL is on, but in terms of really talking about stuff, it's tough. But, I'm going to try to do some athlete interviews, going to try to do some cool stuff here and there. So, stay tuned for that. But, in preparation for the Super Bowl, I was talking about the bracket that I do with my family, and it's like a March Madness style. And then you guess the total amount of points in the Super Bowl at the end. I was so wrong. I have a chance to win $33. That's how wrong I was. I mean, I love the fact that I could be so bad at something, you actually get money. It's like it's kind of amazing. So I don't know. I'm going to have to see what ends up. I'm definitely interested in the Super Bowl. I mean, I want the people of Cincinnati to get it, and then I want Mathew Stafford to get a ring, but I'm going to go around the table. Who do you guys actually have as your pick to win the Super Bowl? Tyler, I'll start with you.
All right. Well, there's a bunch of different factors you got to putting into place right here. And it's how well will Stafford play? Like I said, if he makes mistakes, Cincinnati's going to make him pay.
Yeah.
That defense is gnarly.
Yeah.
And because they can, if they get to him, Hendrickson and Hubbard, they can rattle Stafford.
Yeah.
But because Stafford's never been in situations like this really that often, except for just now. So if you rattle him quick, and I think it's game over. But that, like I said, but that defense on the Rams side could also do the same to Joe Burrow. But I've also seen that you could sack Joe Burrow 9 times in Tennessee, and he'll still win the game.
Exactly.
And so I have no idea who I want to win, but I feel like I have to give the edge to the Rams.
I do. Yeah. I think so too. Personally, I want the people of Cincinnati to get it. I want Cincinnati to do it because they don't remind me of the Patriots in terms of the way they played in their early dynasty, but just the way that a young team has come together is very reminiscent to me of those Patriots teams, because I don't know. It's not like they obviously have the flash. They have a lot of, they have the flashiness of new era teams, but I don't know. Joe Burrow kind of brings the ruggedness of like what Tom Brady brought back in the day. Their defense is kind of coming along with certain things, but I don't know. It reminds me more of a early Patriots team than maybe the Kansas City Chiefs do, or maybe.
Yeah, I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that early Patriots teams were very defensive heavy.
Exactly.
Because they didn't trust Tom Brady.
I'm not talking about in terms of style. I'm talking about just in terms of the youth that they have and the fact that they have some veteran presence, and then it's kind of the mix. Those Patriots teams were filled with veterans. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that defense, like McGinnis was on there, Brewski, you had Ty Law, and then you bring in Rodney Harrison later, and Laura Malloy in the first Super Bowl. Yeah. I mean, those teams were just stacked.
Absolutely. There were a ton of guys there. I don't know. I like the way this Bengals team feels. They have the feel of a team that could really go on a run early, but I think I just got to go with the Rams just because. I mean, you look at that again. You look at that O-line; it's atrocious for the Bengals. So I think that could really. I think I
don't see it as a factor anymore, because I feel like you can get to Joe Burrow really often, but I feel like he'll still kill you based off of what he did against Tennessee. Yeah. Tennessee really got to him, and he still killed him.
Yeah, I think that.
LA's secondary isn't I would say is probably a step above
Tennessee, and I'd also say that. The Rams D-line is also a step above Tennessee.
Yes.
Big time.
So there's that factor. Who am I rooting for? Cincinnati. Who do I think is going to win? The Rams.
That's kind of me.
I think that if the Bengals, they're going to really have to try and focus on shutting down those wide receivers. I mean, there was a large part of the game against the Chiefs where they would literally just send 3 and drop 8.
Yeah.
And say, Mahomes, your first read's not going to be there. Hopefully one of you guys can get open. And it was actually working.
Yeah.
Especially towards the red zone, towards the end of the game. He almost fumbled the game away. They almost didn't get that kickoff.
Exactly.
But yeah, I just think that Rams line is way too good. And then you got Ramsey in the backfield. You know, it's just scary. It's just hard. You know,
I think so. It's too scary for me. I think it's going to really I think it's just going to do numbers on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you said Cincinnati needs to shut down LA's receivers. And I think one thing that they might be able to take away is the deep threat with Jesse Bates, their safety.
Yeah.
Because what happened against Kansas City, they threw it deep, and who was there to knock it away? Jesse Bates.
Yeah.
And he tipped it to, I don't remember who he tipped it to, but he was right on Tyreek Hill. Because Tyreek Hill blew past his guy.
Yeah.
And he was right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's also going to determine to whether the Bengals can actually get at Mathew Stafford. Because I mean, whether Jaworski Tartt dropped that pass or did pick it off, it was a terrible pass.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's a bad pass, and it does make you wonder: is he injured or is he just airmailing it? And I don't know if the Bengals are able to get past Andrew Whitworth, who at this point was once very good, but at this point is his age is really starting to show.
Yeah.
If they can get past a guy like him and get to Mathew Stafford and force him to make some throws that he's uncomfortable with, that could be a factor too. So it is kind of a double-edged sword. I will probably lean the Rams just because obviously Mathew Stafford, doesn't have a ton of playoff experience, but just the overall experience he has, I think I think that could definitely help him out. And obviously just the star-studded talent that they're going to have in the Super Bowl. I mean, it's unprecedented. I mean, not unprecedented in terms of talent, but I just think with Mathew Stafford, he wants it so bad. And I know Burrow does too, but I mean, for Stafford, I look at this Rams team and I think the Bengals, well, first of all, I look at this Bengals team, whether they lose the Super Bowl or not, they could take a step back next year. I think for the next 3 to 5 years, they're at least going to have the chance to be in it. And I think we'll be in that 1, 2, 3 punch of teams in the AFC of it being Chiefs, Bills, and Bengals. I think it could easily go back and forth with those guys as the real contenders. Tennessee could make a run as the 1 seed, but we probably know who the real guys are. I think that Cincinnati could definitely, become in that conversation. So regardless of whether they take a step back, I think they're going to be in that. With the Rams, I see them. I'm pretty sure Von Miller's a free agent. OBJ is a free agent.
Yeah.
And then they have
OBJ is not going to leave.
I don't think so. I think
if they win, he's gonna take a smaller contract. I feel
really?
it. And that's talking about Odell Beckham Jr.
Yes, but
I never thought I would say that about him. I think he's the biggest diva in the NFL.
Yeah, but
he does make a lot of money off the field, though.
But that's if they win, though. If they were to lose, I think OBJ could look for something elsewhere. So that's
really?
Well, here's the thing.
It may make a good point, but
I think he's ring chasing at this point.
I think
what else does he need to prove?
He's in one of the biggest markets in the NFL.
No, exactly.
Now that Stafford's there, it's really a big market.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like this is LA's best shot for this year is personally going to be their best shot. They could make runs next year and they could be solid, but I think this is going to be their best shot.
I feel like these next 2-3 years, you got Stafford. Once he hits to 36, I think because no one's going to play like Tom Brady did.
Right.
Yeah, no.
But I think once Stafford gets they need to beat the clock to 36. Once he gets to 36, I don't know how he's going to play.
Mm-hmm.
But
he's also like 33 now.
Yeah, he's 33.
Okay.
Think about how different this Rams team is. If Robert Woods doesn't get hurt.
Yeah.
That's 4 receivers you're now talking about.
Yeah, but
if Robert Woods doesn't get in,
I don't think they bring OBJ.
Do they bring in OBJ?
They brought him in before.
Well, no,
and then he got hurt after.
Yeah, you are right.
He got hurt like a week after. They had those 4 targets. I don't think Van Jefferson was being used as much as he is now.
That's what it was. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that is a factor. You do have to kind of look at that.
You got Tyler Higbee in the tight end slot.
I will say this though. I think OBJ, we can officially say that, do you want to say at this point that it wasn't Cleveland? No, it was Cleveland and it wasn't him at this point.
Yes and no. He was being a little baby about it though. I mean, just suck it up. I mean, you got to stand, but
I don't know.
Okay. Say I'm your receiver.
Okay.
And I'm tweeting about you on social media. I'm saying shit behind your back.
Yeah.
What are you going to do to me?
Yeah, I think from a personal standpoint, if I'm Baker Mayfield, it's probably a different point of view. But just from my own point of view, I just feel like with the amount of weapons that Baker Mayfield has had around him these past 2-3 years and the amount of productivity he's been able to accumulate with it, just doesn't add up.
But he's also been getting hammered. Like he's been getting this year specifically, he got injured a lot.
Yeah.
He injured his non-throwing shoulder, he injured his leg, his calf, his ribs, the list goes on. And he still played through it. Like, I don't know. I'm a big advocate. I like Baker Mayfield, but I don't know. Oh, real quick, Cleveland is a quarterback away.
That is a huge that I would say Cleveland.
Yeah,
their
Cleveland's
1-2 punch in the backfield with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb is pretty much unstoppable.
And their front office and everything
Austin
is
Hooper.
That team that is not trash anymore. Like that.
No,
their front office is completely changed. Their
100%.
coaching is amazing. So they're fine. But I really want to bring this up, and this is something that's important to me.
Okay.
Just like the aesthetic of stuff, but like to bring reference, I don't know if you guys watched the Rose Bowl.
Oh,
For me, the Rose Bowl is the most gorgeous game to watch, and I was watching it this year, and the announcers were like, the colors of like this game, like the field is so green, like the colors of the reds and the whites were just popping.
Yeah.
These past Super Bowls have just been like red. Think about it.
Well, this one's gonna be very aesthetically pleasing. The orange and the blue.
The orange and the black, and then the throwback unis they're going their throwback white unis.
Okay.
So the sleeves have a little design on them, and then the yellow pants. I don't know. I think that it's just nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like a little like loser thing to say, but like I don't know.
Cool. Switch it up a little bit.
I
mean, a lot of the same colors these past.
Yeah, like the Patriots Rams Super Bowl, I thought was just it was pretty.
Even Patriots Eagles, it's I don't know. Well, Patriots Rams was very nice, but you know, you look at Pat's Eagles, it's just kind of bland.
Yeah, Patriots Seahawks was really cool.
That was
really cool.
That field with those colors, it just all matched.
But then you get Chiefs 49ers, and they're basically all the same colors.
Yeah.
And then
they tried to play it off by going like red with gold is like what they tried to do.
Yeah.
But it just didn't really.
And then you get Chiefs Bucks. I mean, they're all red. Now you get something completely different, which I think is going to be. I think it'll be really cool.
I think so too.
It'll be really cool or really ugly. So it's a huge.
It's a hit or miss for sure.
Or no, a huge hit, big miss.
Yeah.
I feel like a team I just don't think could look very aesthetically pleasing in the Super Bowl unless they have like a good counterpart would probably be like the Minnesota Vikings. Like, I don't know. If the
purple.
Yeah. Like the only team I could see it working really well against would be like the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you got like the purple and the yellow,
that'd be nice.
That'd be like cool.
That.
But like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like stuff that'd be visually appealing with, the color purple. But like, I don't know if they had to play like, I don't know, like the Jets, like that. Right. Like, I was just thinking in terms of colors, that would look so ugly, but I don't know. I don't know. I like how I like this matchup for the Super Bowl. Again, I think I got the Rams. You said the Rams as
Rams.
well?
Okay. We all got Rams.
So, we all got the Rams. So that's what we got over there. But I don't know. We were talking about things that seem aesthetically pleasing. Before we do end up going, something that came out today, which
I was going to say it.
I don't know if you find it aesthetically pleasing, was the Washington football. Well, formerly
their unis are dope.
Well, formerly
they're
awesome. The Washington football team. Now they've revealed their new name and their new uniforms. They're now the Washington Commanders.
Commanders, that's right.
It fits.
What do you like the name?
Yeah, I mean it fits with DC.
Yeah,
I mean, it's gonna take some time to get used to because obviously we were used to them just being the joke of a football team, right? And then we were used to the other name.
Yeah,
and it's the same with like the Cleveland Guardians. I mean, both their new names make complete sense.
Yeah,
but it's just gonna take a little time to get used to. Like it's used to saying, LA Rams, LA Chargers. Like everybody had to get used to it. Vegas Raiders, and now it's just got to be Washington Commanders.
Yeah, over time it'll fit. Over time, it'll just become smooth.
And we won't even remember. Like, whoa, we used to call them the what? Like,
I don't know. For me, Commanders, it's gonna definitely take a little bit more time with me. I don't know if I'm ever gonna really adjust to it. I don't know.
Like, so you say that now. I say that now.
What else would you go with? That's my question.
I liked Armada. Was one that was interesting to me. There were a couple ones where it was like interesting. I liked the idea of like the Wolves, like the
Washington
Wolves. I think there was like some copyright thing that they couldn't
It was like
use.
The Red Wolves. I don't know. That was one where I thought it was really cool because they did have a really cool design there. There was like the Red Tails, which is like a flight like kind of thing. So they were gonna do something, but I think it would have been too similar to the Jets. But I don't know. I don't know. It's gonna take something for me where. For me, it just kind of seems like, I don't know, a little bit like Little League of a name where I don't know. And even the Cleveland Guardians, I remember I saw their logo and I don't know, it looks like very minor league to me. And that's the thing where I'm just like,
because we're professional sports teams don't change their names or logos. And now because of our generation, they had
to. No, but I'll give you an example though of a team where it's coming and I really like the name in the NHL, the Seattle Kraken. Like obviously they've just come in. I think that name has gone like perfect. I mean, you see people in Kraken gear around here.
But I think that's a little different because that was an expansion team. You didn't have a Seattle something else before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We had a Washington
like
something
Vegas
else before.
Golden Knights that felt weird before, and now
Right.
they're one of the best teams in the
right,
NHL.
and it fits.
It does.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there really was nothing before for Seattle. They just had the Seattle Kraken. That's what it was. That's what it is. That's what people are going to go with. So now it's Washington Commanders. That's what it is. That's what people are going to have to go with.
Yeah, but you've had teams move to other places before. I mean, you had the Montreal Expos move to Washington, D.C. And previously in D.C., the team that was there was the Senators. And they ended up, then they changed it and they went with the Washington Nationals. And for people that was, no one kind of, batted an eye at that. I don't know. For me, it just doesn't roll off the tongue like the way I really want it to with a football team name. I mean, eventually it could be, maybe for me, it eventually becomes like just kind of like a college team name where it's like, oh, it's like their quirky little thing. And I mean, I like the history behind Commanders. I do. And I don't know. It's going to take something getting used to. With the Cleveland Guardians, though,
I feel like it's
Cleveland Guardians,
like
though, are named
syllables.
It could be.
Commanders.
I think I saw like some
It's a
people
little
complaining
longer
about like what would they even chant to? Like, let's go commies. Let's go.
Oh, Jesus.
Let's, yeah. Like,
well,
in DC, my God.
Patriots is one syllable. The Packers is one syllable.
Right.
The Commanders is like 2 or 3. It's like, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's a little longer.
Patriots is one syllable.
Is it?
No,
Is it?
Patriots.
Oh, but either way, it just rolls off the. I'm not
Patriots,
good at English.
Packers,
It just rolls off the tongue.
Commanders. It's just a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to take something getting used to. I think it's fitting for their Guardians, though. They're named after a bridge.
Yeah, but do you know that bridge has been there for like
the
ages.
History of it. I don't know. Just seeing that they're named after a bridge, I'm like, I don't know. I would have liked them.
Cleveland.
Yeah, it's Cleveland, but they already had a baseball team name. They could have gone to the Cleveland Spiders. That was a team that they were very popular with. And have you ever
seems silly?
Have you ever seen the Cleveland Spiders logo? It's sick.
You ever hear of the Trash Pandas?
Yes, I have heard of that.
It's a minor league baseball team, like a AAA baseball team. It's literally a panda in a trash can.
Yeah, but again, it's
sick.
It's a minor league baseball team. It's supposed to be funny, dude. That's the Cleveland Spiders logo.
That is pretty cool.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. That is pretty cool.
I don't know. I wanted them to go back to that. I thought that on a hat.
That's pretty cool. But
that on a hat, again, this for just reference, I thought that could have been really cool to have. If you were to change that name whatsoever, I mean, just like on a hat, man, like that's just nice.
Yeah.
That's kind of sick. And I know the Trash Pandas logo that you're probably going to look up. I don't know. That would have been a very interesting name.
Dude, it's a raccoon in a trash can in a rocket.
Yeah. I don't know.
Look at that.
That is a logo right
He's
there.
literally in a rocket ship.
It's like a logo you get on a video game and just create.
My God.
It's a raccoon in a trash can on a rocket.
Yeah. I don't know. Another favorite minor league team name of mine is the Albuquerque Isotopes. I don't know if you've ever seen those guys.
There are so many. My uncle loves to collect like baseball hats and like just sports hats.
Yeah.
So every year, like my cousins, they get him like a new hat or something like that. And he gets these like minor league baseball team ones because my cousins are hilarious.
Yeah,
they'll get him like these weird ass teams, like the Trash Pandas.
Right.
Me and my cousin wanted to get matching shirts.
That's the Albuquerque Isotopes hat.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, that is cool. That is really cool.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like that actually kind of seems sick. Like for a hat.
Cool. That is cool.
So I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna be interested. I mean, the uniforms look nice. I'm not gonna lie that they do look nice.
Yeah.
I just wonder though how it's gonna go over in DC. I mean, what I wonder though is from what I've heard, apparently in DC from talking to certain people, there is no like you would not think there was even a football team in the area. It's basically Raven stuff and Orioles stuff. And that's basically the only stuff that you have down there, and national stuff. Like my friend Pat, who went down there for a semester, kind of abroad in DC, and he said there's no football stuff.
Really,
it's crazy. And so I don't know. It's gonna take some getting used to. I don't know how well it's gonna go over. I mean, I don't know. What?
I looked at some funny AAA baseball names.
Oh yeah, you can definitely find some good ones.
Richmond Flying Squirrels.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
I wonder who's coming up with these names.
I mean,
the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, the Albuquerque Isotopes, Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs.
I mean, yeah. Well, I almost went to an Iron Pigs game.
Really?
There's one that's actually really close to here. It's in Hartford. It's the Hartford Yard Goats.
Mm-hmm.
So
the Woodpeckers.
Yeah, exactly.
The Shuckers, the baby cakes.
Yeah.
What?
No, you can
the
find
New Orleans baby cakes.
No, you can find some good ones around there. 100%.
What? Oh my goodness. The Kannapolis Cannonballers. It's literally a dude being shot out of a cannon.
Actually, funny story about the Kannapolis Cannonballers. There's actually a kid from my town. He got drafted to the White Sox. He's currently on the Kannapolis Cannonballers.
Really?
Yeah.
The Auburn Double Days.
Yeah. I've actually I've interviewed him on the show before. His name's Sean Burke. He's a pitcher for the White Sox. Great pitcher. He's actually on the Kannapolis Cannonballers right now.
The Montgomery Biscuits.
Yeah,
Montgomery
exactly.
Biscuits.
So yeah, you can find really funny minor league team names. It's I love to go through it because you can find so many of them. It's awesome. I'm trying to think. Obviously, what Pawtucket had the Paw Sox for so many years. Then they went to Worcester and have become the Woo Sox.
That just sounds stupid.
It is stupid.
That sounds dumb, man.
It is Worcester, but if you know Worcester, they go by the Woo, and that's just
the Las Vegas 51s.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
So they do stuff like that, but I don't know. There's so many things there, and I don't know. I'm gonna be really excited to see what the next NFL season will have in store for it. Whether that will be something that kind of meshes well. Maybe DC will finally get a football vibe back with them, but we're gonna have to see. It's gonna be a very long off season once we get into football.
Yeah.
Once we get to the end of that, I'm not gonna be enjoying that. But
it's gonna be interesting.
But again, we got some good stuff on this show coming up. I was talking about some interviews that we're gonna do. I've been in contact with a lot of guys that even outside of sports have some great stories that I'm gonna get a chance to talk with on this show.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anything, but we got some really cool stuff coming up.
Yeah, it's just gonna be interesting this football off season with there's some really good quarterbacks in this year's draft. I mean, Desmond Ridder, Pickett from Pitt, and then you got the dude from Ole Miss. I can't remember his name, Matt Corral.
Yeah, Matt Corral.
And it's going to be interesting what teams are going to go to free agency versus what teams are going to go to the draft.
Yeah.
I mean, last year you had the Patriots was one of the big teams that everyone had their eyes on.
Absolutely.
Who is it now?
Yeah.
I mean, right now I got my eyes on Denver. What are they going to do?
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of teams.
Green Bay. What are they going to do?
Yeah.
Where does Carson Wentz go from here?
Tampa. What's Tampa do?
Yeah. What
a lot of teams do.
There's so many
Philly.
questions.
Keep your eyes on Philly. Do they like Jalen Hurts? Fantasy quarterback led me to the championship this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's my fantasy quarterback. But he's I don't know. He's a big fancy guy, but in real life,
is he going to take them to the next level?
Exactly.
Can he get them to the level? Yeah.
Exactly.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be really interesting, but Tyler, Zevi, I think it's time to say that we are now down to the wire, which means that we're going to wrap up what we talked about this episode, and we will send you guys off. Obviously, welcomed in and back to the show, Bryant University quarterback Zevi Eckhaus. Dude, glad to have you back on the show, man.
Glad to be back.
It was a blast having you on. Back. We hope to get you back on to talk some football in the future. It was a great time having you. Obviously, we started things off by talking about how Tom Brady, basically just dissed all of New England by keeping him out of his retirement post. Still a little bit hurt by that. Listen, he's going to make it up. He's probably going to release some heartfelt video. He's going to do something to, get a bunch of people back.
I feel like something's coming.
Yeah.
Something's coming
special.
Whether he wants to or not, and why he's going to do it. He wants to sell his TB12 stuff to us. Like in terms of
his Brady brand.
Exactly.
He's still posting every day.
for a hoodie.
He retired and 30 minutes later he was posting Brady band again.
I'm like, wow, this man is on his stuff.
Yeah.
So that was a coordinated move.
But $140 for a hoodie.
That's insane.
That's stupid.
That's insane.
It's so stupid.
You don't need any more money.
He has so much of it too, and his wife.
His wife makes so much money.
At the same time, Bryant, we essentially have paid $60,000 for a hoodie that we got last fall.
He's got a great point.
I don't know. So I don't know. We have technically paid more where we go.
You know how much I pay, and I can't even get a flight to my conference meeting. What is this?
No, exactly. So I don't know. He's going to do something because this is his market. If he's going to lose something in this market, that's a terrible thing as just a business strategy.
That's just dumb.
So he's going to do something to mend the fences and do something there. Something's going to happen. So obviously, something's coming. We're going to have to see what happens in the coming days. Didn't do a press conference where he signed a one-day today. Obviously, just never happened. But after that, we talked about the AFC and NFC championship games, talked about Joe Burrow and the Bengals, coming back and beating the Chiefs in OT. Something funny I saw in that Chiefs game before we do go was it was on Chiefs Twitter, and they posted all caps after the coin toss. We won the coin toss, and then the next thing just says final.
Yeah, they lost.
just right after
they lost.
Chiefs media team.
Because apparently in Kansas City, winning the coin toss is essentially going to the Super Bowl. I don't know.
That's what we thought it was, at least.
The other part that was pure irony was it took Pat Mahomes to lead them. It took them 13 seconds to lead them. and get them into overtime in the last week's game. It took them 13 seconds to
throw
blow
an interception.
Yep. So, I don't know.
Blow their season
There's kind of a nice, unique irony about that. I really do love that. So I don't know. That was obviously awesome. Congrats to Joe Burrow and the entire city of Cincinnati. Also, congrats to Shooter McPherson, who just has the biggest nuts of anyone I've ever seen. I mean, you got to love that guy. Hats off to him. We talked about Walker Hayes' calamity of a halftime performance. That thing was just a complete shit show. It was just nuts.
And Mathew Stafford finally getting his opportunity.
Yes. Have you seen that too? In all the seasons that he made the playoffs with Detroit, he was 0-3.
Now he's 3-0.
He's 3-0. So obviously, hats off to him. I hope that. I mean, again, I don't want the LA Rams to win, but I want him to win.
Right.
I feel so, I mean, he's a great guy and I really want him to win. So honestly, that's why I'm so conflicted. We did all take the Rams to win the Super Bowl, even though it would be a great story for Cincinnati to do it. But I don't know.
It's a great game it's not a good game to bet money on.
No,
it is
just
a
enjoy
huge
it.
Toss up.
Just enjoy it.
Huge game, huge toss up.
That's gonna be me. I'm just gonna be sitting back enjoying this game. From what I can tell, there might be some friends of mine that aren't at Bryant anymore, possibly coming back. So knock on wood that we could have a really good weekend with that. I don't know. It's gonna be a fun Super Bowl.
I just want to mention both quarterbacks have the ability to be in this position to win. Mathew Stafford's been in the league for so long, and he hasn't been in big moments, but he's got so much experience that he's fine. Like he's played in OT games, maybe where they've meant something. I mean, these past 3 games in the playoffs have been huge. And then you got Joe Burrow, who
Joey franchise,
Joe Shiesty, and these past games were like huge. And then that regular season game against Patrick Mahomes was a huge win.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And it felt like a playoff game. And then he wins the national championship. He's won the Heisman. Like he's been in big moments.
His resume is awesome.
Both of these guys are
battle of the number 9s.
Yeah.
Quick sidebar. Do you speak Spanish? Because that was pretty nice.
Not at all.
That was pretty nice. That R roll. Yeah. I'm about to say I could totally see if you spoke Spanish with that. But no, then after that, we talked about the Washington Commanders now being the new team in DC. Kind of went back and forth and on the validity of that name and whether the city is going to take to it.
Cool unis though.
Yeah, no, very cool unis. They're actually pretty nice. And then we had some fun talking about some minor league baseball team names and seeing what's going to happen there. Minor league baseball might be the only baseball that's happening, or just even collegiate baseball might be the only baseball that's happening with the impending lockout. There's going to be some sort of delay to the season at this point. And I could make a whole episode about me, ranting about Rob Manfred and the shit show that he's done with this league. So I don't know, that's too much time for me to waste on an episode. So obviously before we go, I do want to shout out some stuff on social media. Obviously, if you're not following Down the Wire at this point, go follow us. We're available.
Yeah, what are you doing, man?
Yeah,
come
on.
Now.
Exactly.
Pick it up.
We're
right now.
Stay up to date.
Pick it up.
We're available everywhere. You guys can find podcasts, whether that be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google. We also have the video stream, obviously, on YouTube. But we're also on TikTok. We're on Facebook. Another app that I want to shout out to is Colorcast. That's a fun app that I've been able to try out where you can post basically post your hot takes on certain sports topics. Actually, really fun app there. I highly recommend you get on it. My friend Brett Lawrence showed it to me. So great app there. We're on that as well. But basically, if you want any updates involving the show, anything whatsoever, make sure you go follow us on our Instagram. You can follow that at down.tothewire. Again, at down.tothewire. Thank you so much, Tyler. I appreciate that. Zevi, thank you so much. Tyler, glad to have you back on the show. Hopefully we get some good stuff out this month. But from Down to the Wire, I'm Brian Costa.
And I'm Tyler Stringfellow.
And I'm Zevi Eckhaus.
And we hope you guys have a great time. Take care and peace out.